So let's create our first virtual machine through the vCenter. Of course, if we click on the vCenter, we don't have any option to create a virtual machine because the vCenter need to have a data center to start use it. Then if we click on the data center, we have some option to add host, new cluster, new folder, distributed switch, and new virtual machine. So if we chose new virtual machine from this place, it will ask us for the host that we want to create this virtual machine inside it. And if we already know which host that we want to create the virtual machine in, we just click on the host directly and choose the option new virtual machine. So the difference between this one and this one is that here we already select the host, but here we still not select the host that we want. So let's try the first one. So we go right here, new virtual machine, and here give you the different option. If you remember, when we create a virtual machine, we have only 3 options. Now we have more than 3. Create new virtual machine, deploy from a template. That's we already have a template. We just deploy a virtual machine from that template, as you will see the description right here. Clone an existing virtual machine. That means we want to take an image from an existing machine and create a new one with the same configuration of the previous one. Clone a virtual machine from a template. That means we're going to get an image from the template and keep the template safe without deleting the template and create the new virtual machine. Clone template to template. That means we want to clone a template and create another copy of that template and convert template to a virtual machine. That means we have a template and we want to change it to a virtual machine. We'll see this template later when we create our first template. Now let's just create a new virtual machine. Then next, here it asks you the name for the virtual machine. So for example, let's call it Linux, just an example, mail server, just like that. Then he asks you to choose which data center that you want. Of course, if you have more than 2 or 3 data center, he automatically selects the one that we click on it because we click in Morocco. So he automatically selects Morocco, but you can change to the second data center and to the third data center. So click next. Then now he asks you which host that you want to add this virtual machine in. Click in any one of them. He automatically check the compatibility of this virtual machine with the host. If we click on the second one, also give you compatibility check succeed. If the host that you select is not compatible with the virtual machine that you want to create, he will give you an error here and you can't complete. So now you check one of the hosts that is available and all of them is compatible with the virtual machine that we will create. So next, it's very simple. Now he asks you to select the data store that we have. So you see here we have VM policy data store and we have some other option. We'll see it later. Then he gives you the data store that is available inside this host, the number 10 that we select. We have only one data store, that's called it data store 1. He gives you some information about it. That means capacity, provision, that means the virtual machine used in this data store. It's tick about total allocated space, including incommate space. That means how much virtual machine we created with maximum capacity. And then we have some how much free space that we have and the type VMFS5. This is the type of the hard driver or the data store created by the VMware software. So we click next. Then you choose the compatible with ESXi 6.5 or any of the old ESXi. Of course, we choose the last one to get all the options for the tutorial. Then we click next. Now he asks us to choose the guest OS and the version of it. If you remember in the preview, we have the compatibility and the guest operation system in one tab. Now we have in separate tab. So we select, for example, Linux. We select, for example, Red Hat Linux, just an example. This operation system is no longer supported. So let's choose someone else, CentOS, etc. Then we click next. Now the part of the hardware, if you remember in the preview, he give us the recommendation hardware and we need to edit them through using costume the hardware. Now you see here we have the CPU, how much CPU that we can use for this virtual machine, how much RAM, you can choose the different RAM. You see now it give you the minimum, the default, the maximum, and the maximum for best performance. So he automatically give you that 2 GB is very good for this machine. He give you that the minimum for this machine to work, you should give it 256 megabytes. The default is 2, but the maximum is 64. That means the version that you chose can support up to 64 gigabytes for this machine. And also the operation system can support up to 64 gigabytes of the RAM. Also he give you the maximum for the best performance is 4 gigabytes. So this is more information about it. Now he give you the hard driver. You can choose how much gigabytes for the hard driver. Also you can choose more details about it. So the maximum size is 27. VM policy, the location, the take and 10 provision. So here he automatically chose take provision lazy. We can change it to 10 to avoid that problem of the space. And of course, when we chose 10 provision, we can choose here more than 27 that is available. Then we have sharing, the option of the sharing, no sharing, multi-writer, and some other advanced option for the virtual machine. Then we have the new SCSI controller also. Then we have the network adapter that is connected directly to the VM network. That's the only VM network that we have. We're going to see it later in the section of the network, the different network that we have and how we can create some other network. Then we have the DVD driver, the floppy, the video card, and some other option. Then we have here the VM option as the preview in the user interface of the host and a new option that's called SDRS. We'll see this option in a specific section about the DRS and the height availability. So then here if you want to add some other device, we don't need it right now, then we click next and here is it a quick overview about the virtual machine. Then we click finish and you will see a new task right here. Create a virtual machine in the data center Morocco and some other information. And you will see it right here. Here is it complete. A new virtual machine is created. And of course, if you want to run it, you click on this play right here or directly through power, power on, etc. It's the same as the user interface of the host, but now we manage them through the vCenter. So if we click on this option right here, we can choose web console or VM remote console and start from here. We chose that the web console right now to see it. And here is it, a new interface of the virtual machine. On Fort US keyboard, view full screen, send Control Alt Del. This to reboot. As we don't have any operation system yet, we can reboot them through this option. And of course, you can see the same information as in the preview from right here. VMware tool, the information about the hardware, the information about the server, the host that have this virtual machine, and some other option. So now you can create any virtual machine that you want through the vCenter as the same as you do in the user interface of the host. Of course, here you can edit the resource setting if you want to change the setting of the hardware. And of course, if you want to add a ISO image, you go to edit setting and go to CD DVD driver. And here you can choose between the client device, host device, data store ISO or content library ISO file. So here you can choose the ISO image that you want to use to install inside this virtual machine from the vCenter. So see you in the next video.